Welcome to the Australian Business Executive Podcast, where we speak with Australia's most influential industry professionals on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all our content, including our magazines, podcasts and videos by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guests are the directors of Ascent Executive Retreats, Phil, Luke, and Steve Gunther. Steve Gunther started his career in radio, managing 2 radio stations by age 30. He spent a number of years in recruitment before managing staff across 2 countries for an audio-visual in-flight entertainment company and a short stint with a charity, then working for a professional speaker management company before launching Ascent Executive Retreats in 2022. Phil Luke has had an extensive TV and radio media career as a journalist, executive producer, and chief of staff for the major networks. He has been in the events industry for more than 8 years, running a successful keynote speaker bureau and an events video production service. Steve and Phil, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Jesse.
So, Ascent Executive Retreats is a new company launching in 2022. How did this come together?
Very good question, Jesse. It all started as a conversation when I was moving to Tasmania in 2020. And Phil thought, well, what a great place to hold executive retreats. And here we are delivering them. Phil and I, as you heard, we've both got quite eclectic backgrounds. We've worked in media, corporate world, led teams locally, internationally, and we've been working in the events industry for many years, sort of being service providers for events and conferences. So when we looked at this, it gave us a unique perspective when it comes to working with executives to curate unique, bespoke retreat experiences. And that's what we're aiming to do.
I think a lot of people already know of retreat resorts. So what is Ascend intending to do differently from existing hotels and retreats that already exist?
Well, Jesse, Ascend Executive Retreats is a full retreat and incentive management company. So we're not a specific location or accommodation establishment. We organise and manage the full retreat package, offering luxury, unique accommodation locations around Australia, the country's best speakers and facilitators, because coming from the speaking industry, we have access to some of the best in Australia. And part of the retreat package are unique gourmet experiences using first-class regional produce and wines. And finally, we facilitate activities that reconnect and recharge executive teams. So unlike an individual retreat location, it's the whole retreat, corporate retreat package from Ascend Executive Retreats.
COVID has really been a catalyst for the setup of this business, hasn't it?
Look, it certainly has been a catalyst, and it's been the COVID crisis has been a massive wake-up call, I think, to corporate Australia. Certainly, working life for millions of Australians will never be the same again. And I think, particularly with the latest strains of COVID coming through, now more than ever, companies will need to bring their executive teams and staff together. I think it comes down to the fact they have to reconnect their management teams, who've really struggled through 2 intense years of lockdowns, restrictions, isolation, working from home. The workforce is just so disconnected at this point in history. And I suppose, in a way, we are here to help fix that problem. To give companies the chance to go off-site, go out of the office, go out of their buildings, and provide them with an avenue and an opportunity to bring their teams together at a corporate retreat and to basically start the healing process. This is about the corporate world taking care of I suppose you'd term it the professional and personal well-being development of their executive teams.
And so what can clients really expect as part of the Ascend Executive Retreats experience?
Well, as Phil said, I think, it's really about the personal and professional well-being of your people. And for us, we have the knowledge, we've got the experience, we've got the expertise collectively an enormous wealth of experience to draw upon. From taking a brief, we know what questions to ask, we know how to fulfill a brief. We have an enormous amount of knowledge of speakers and facilitators, and they're world class. We are talking world class facilitators, world class speakers who are exceptionally talented and knowledgeable. So you take all of that, combine it, as Phil said, local produce, finest wines, incredible locations across Australia, like activities that are designed to reconnect teams. And it's not just for the sake of something to do. It's not about taking your team off site and having a boozy couple of days. We're designing programs and agendas to cement relationships within teams and management, personal and professional development, well-being, taking the worry out of organizing all of the elements that go into an executive retreat. Because sometimes, and I'm sure people listening will be like, oh yeah, I've done this before. Sure. It lands on the executive assistant to pull it all together, which can be super stressful for them. So we take that away, and we're on the ground as well. So we'll be there with you. We'll provide a personal and professional customer service centric experience, which we believe is extremely important. As Phil outlined, there's been this disconnect. So this is about the reconnect, the reset, the recharging, and the customer service, the customer experience. That's what we're here to deliver.
So I think a lot of people are going to want to know, what kind of destinations would you be booking for them effectively?
So we will operate, and we do operate right across Australia. So we're providing destination options in every state. So it doesn't matter where a company is based; they can travel interstate if they're in a position to do that. Certainly within the current COVID restrictions, or they can choose to stay within their own state and not worry about border closures or restrictions.
Well, we'll take Tasmania, for example. From Cradle Mountain in the summer or winter, golfing retreat at Bumbugal in the state's northeast, Wineglass Bay on the east coast, down south to near Port Arthur. And that's just one state. So there's so many locations that we've highlighted in our state-based document that we share with clients that sometimes not even locals know what's in their own backyard. So that really, again, negates any issue that we might have with border closures.
Very good. So before we finish today, what's your final message to people who might be listening?
Well, I think the question is, how do companies move forward with their staff and teams after 2 years of this COVID pandemic? And I think that Ascent Executive Retreats provides the answer to that problem by way of giving companies and businesses the chance to show their executive teams that they are valued and the future is bright despite this damn horrible pandemic we're experiencing. This is about bringing executive teams together off-site and giving them a chance to reconnect, recharge, and reset.
I think, Jesse, the disconnect of the last 2 years is palpable. With the great resignation that's currently being experienced in the US, and it's beginning to show signs here in Australia. I've already taken a couple of briefs that specifically are wanting to deal with that exact thing, the great resignation. Organizations need to acknowledge their people and provide personal and professional development and well-being programs. And we're here to help you do that. We have the knowledge, we've got the connections. We're your one-stop shop to curate the best executive retreat and experience. And this is not just about ticking boxes. This is about reconnecting, recharging, and hitting the reset button to bring your teams together to cement professional relationships, deliver a culture that encourages inclusiveness, creativity, and fun. Let's have fun with this. It's not just about sitting in a conference room for 8 hours a day.
Yes.
We're also customer focused. We're super professional, and it's what Ascend Executive Retreats is all about. And we look forward to working with organizations to deliver on the promises that we've been talking about, because it's really important for us.
Excellent. Well, Phil and Steve, thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks so much, Jesse, for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
This has been a production of the Australian Business Executive, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Australian Business Executive, including our magazines, podcasts and videos, by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.